Hello and welcome to Virtual Learning Hub's presentation on communication part 2. My name's Jasmine, nearly forgot my name there, and I'm going to be discussing how you can support communication. Now, when we are looking at how we can support individuals, we first have to identify their needs and their preferences. We provide support to meet the individual's communication and language needs and take their preferences into consideration, which is very important. We're going to briefly look at a video called One in a Million by the Hello campaign.
My name is Ben, and I'm an actor. As a child, it was discovered that I had severe communication needs. Fortunately, my family noticed that I was struggling. It was through speech and language therapists, drama practitioners, and the support of my family that I was able to overcome these difficulties. It's often assumed that we learn to talk, understand what people say, and communicate with others naturally, no matter what. But the truth is, children need adults to help them to learn to talk and to support their development from birth into adulthood. Without good language and communication skills, children can struggle at school, struggle to make friends, and can continue to struggle as they grow older. Communication enables children to learn, to form strong and lasting relationships, to be self-confident, and to navigate our complex world and achieve success. Learning to communicate is one of the most important things a child will ever do. But despite this, few people realise that over 1 million UK children have long-term and persistent speech, language and communication needs. Even though their parents are doing the right things, a child with long-term speech, language and communication needs will find it difficult to learn how to communicate. They will need specialist support to develop these skills. In areas of poverty, more than half of all children start school unable to talk at the right level for their age. They may have fewer words, use shorter sentences, and struggle to listen. This can affect their ability to understand or to make themselves understood. One of the biggest challenges for children with speech, language, and communication needs is that their needs are often hidden. You might see the impact of communication needs, such as poor behaviour, poor reading and writing abilities, poor social skills, or children with low confidence. But you might not recognise the underlying cause, being a child struggling to communicate. Hello is a new campaign to change the lives of children with communication needs. Our aim is to improve understanding about children that are struggling to communicate, giving them the best chance to fulfill their potential and achieve the life they want. Pledging your support and getting involved in Hello is simple. We want the communication needs of children to be identified as early as possible and for them to receive the support they need. You can help achieve this by learning about how children's communication develops and seeking help if they are struggling. By taking action to help improve their skills at school, at home, and in the community. And by sharing information with friends, colleagues, and families so that more people are aware of the 1 million children that are struggling today. Visit hello.org.uk to find out how you can get involved in Hello and to get further information on how to help children with speech, language, and communication needs. Hello, helping all children live life to the full.
So hopefully that video was helpful for you. It does involve adults and young people that may have these needs as well. So needs. Some children and adults have difficulties with their hearing and vision, as was mentioned in the video, and understanding of language because of a disability, could be an accident or a condition. This can make communicating with others difficult, and they may need support. It is estimated that over 10% of children starting school have speech and communication and language needs. That's approximately 2 to 3 in every classroom. All individuals have the right to express themselves how they want to, and all individuals have the right to communicate with others how they want to. All individuals have unique communication preferences. These preferences may involve British Sign Language, key words and pictures, their own individual communication boards, and the language spoken at home. How can we support? We can use services such as speech and language services that provide treatment, support, and care of children and adults who have communication needs. Interpreting services that provide support with interpreting verbal communication from one language to another. There are uses for services such as Makaton and British Sign Language, as mentioned before. We can use translation services, should I say, that provide support with translating written communication from one language to another. An advocacy service that provides support to individuals to express their views, needs, and preferences to others, and independently the needs of individuals. Support groups provide emotional and practical support to individuals who have communication and language needs and preferences and their families. ICT, information and communication technology, which refers to all communication devices and applications such as laptops, PCs, iPads, and mobile phones. Communication aids provide individuals with methods of communicating used via the use of communication boards, speaking communication aids. Communication adaptations apply to individuals' needs and preferences by using speech, using keywords and written words down. Argumentative approaches provide individuals who are unable to use their voice to communicate with a method of communicating, and Makaton, which is a language program that uses signs and symbols to communicate. There are other objects such as picture exchange communication systems that basically teach individuals the process of communication through the use of objects of reference and pictures. And then you have objects of reference, as mentioned, which are pictures that are placed to represent an activity. There are different factors to take into consideration, such as language. So, using individuals' preferred language can indicate respect. Using the same language when communicating aids, should I say, understanding. Different dialects can be accompanied by different accents that may be difficult to understand and may have different meanings to words. Jargon, such as that is used by professionals, can be difficult to understand and may make individuals feel excluded. So, when we're talking about jargon, that could be abbreviated words. Terminology, so using appropriate terminology when meeting an individual for the first time and addressing them appropriately. Abbreviations, as I mentioned before, could be examples such as BP, which stands for blood pressure, ADLs, which stands for activities of daily life. Environment, the physical environment, if quiet, can be conducive to a private communication. The social environment, if tense, can lead to difficult communications. Having a positive attitude will encourage and support individuals to also communicate. Anxiety, so feeling anxious, can make individuals withdrawn from communication. And confidence, feeling confident in one's own abilities, skills, and knowledge is important when communicating with individuals, which can instill trust and respect. Power balance, being in a position of authority, such as a caregiver, can influence both positively and negatively how an individual receives and sends communication. There are different types of relationships, such as positive relationships underpin effective communication. Sensory ability, so the ability to hear, see, feel, touch, and taste, can determine an individual's communication needs and preferences. Poor physical health may lead to pain that can affect communication, and good mental health can affect how an individual interacts with another. Medical conditions such as a stroke or dementia may affect an individual's speech, making them unable to understand or affect their memory and ability to express themselves. Learning disabilities may impact on an individual's understanding and the ability to follow communications. Other factors are age range. So, communicating with toddlers, young children, older children, young people, adults, and other children, and other adults, should I say, will vary according with their abilities and needs. Alcohol and drugs can impact an individual's ability to communicate with others effectively, and professional priorities, so the roles and responsibilities of health and social care practitioners through advocacy, speech and language, and therapists. How can we overcome some of these sensory barriers? For sight, we could use large print braille readers. For hearing, you could use hearing loops, a well lit room, and also a quiet environment with no background noise or distraction. If an individual is diagnosed with dementia, speaking using short and non complex sentences, repeating words and phrases, providing sufficient time to respond to communications. Within a disability, using a combination of words and pictures to aid understanding for some individuals with learning disabilities. First language, so getting to know the individual using an interpreter or translator or someone who knows the individual well, such as a family member or friend. There are different types of language therapies and different types of personal communication systems that can be used for individuals, especially if they have aphasia, dysphasia, and speech disorders. How can we continue to support, especially if the barrier is overwhelming? So, noise, too much noise can be avoided by moving to a quiet area. Too little noise can be overcome by using background noise, such as a switched on radio with light music. High arousal, minimize distractions, and with privacy, planning for private room or an area. In culture, finding out about individuals' cultures, values, and beliefs in relation to communication. Interpersonal skills, so training to enhance your knowledge and your skills. Practice through observations and monitoring of interpersonal skills. Proximity, so learning how near and how far can make a big difference when speaking to an individual. In health and social care settings, care practitioners communicate with others that are involved with the individuals that they provide care and support to. So, how can we do this? With parents and carers, they may communicate with the individual over the phone or in person when they visit to accompany or are accompanied by a relative. Individuals and family friends, they may communicate with the individual and find out what their likes and dislikes are in relation to the experience of care or treatment provided. Colleagues may communicate with colleagues on a regular basis, verbally when working with them, and writing when completing daily reports about individual care support. External partners such as social services and the police and health care professionals, they may communicate with individuals in multi agency meetings and discussions. Language and terminology. So, how can we meet the needs of others? We can do this through, as I mentioned, the need to adapt the language and terminology that we use. Also, we can look at the types of relationships, so the nature of the relationship which is established or developed will to depend on how the communication takes place, whether it's informal, formal, in person, or using email or over the phone. Power balance, so communicating with colleagues and managers, external agencies, and health and social care professionals will vary according to the roles and responsibilities and the nature of what is being communicated. Culturally, the communication with others will need to ensure that it meets the cultural needs and preferences. But now I'm going to kind of break down some of the services that you may liaise with, such as speech and language therapists. If a child, for instance, is in preschool, then a referral can be made through the health visitor. If the child is in school age, then a referral is made and can be made through the special educational needs coordinator. If a speech and language therapist is required for a third party, then this can be done via a referral directly to the speech and language therapist. And that's usually by visiting their website and then completing the referral